It's Only Sport with Martin Devlin on the platform. Brought to you by One New Zealand. Let's get connected. The Tight Five.
5 separate sporting topics, roughly a minute or so on each. Lachlan, when the bell goes, reminds us we move on to next topic. Piastri won. The McLarens are now ahead in the Drivers' Championship. Is this significant? Are you now back into your F1? Freddie Gillespie, banned for a game. What a moron. Is he a new signing for the Breakers? Who headbutted an opponent on the weekend. And you want to watch it. It's just thuggish is what it is, and stupid. He gets a one-game ban. You're really lucky, pal. If that's what you bring into the Breakers, none of us want it. Black Ferns, not quite good enough. Tasman won the Shield. Wellington, not good enough. Man City. The case is underway tomorrow, New Zealand time into the financial fair play irregular, whatever they are. And Stephen Jones talking about the Black Ferns Haka. Let's start there because every week it seems there's another story about the Haka. It was drowned out in South Africa because they played the music at the wrong time and the plane went overhead, and now someone else is moaning about it in England. Do you care, Lachlan? This debate seems to come up with alarming regularity, doesn't it? It's the same old arguments. I just go back to the stock standard answer that, look, it's not going to go away from international rugby. Our teams are going to do it on the international stage. I think there's a good argument that perhaps we should leave it till after the match, do it to our fans after the match. If people are really upset about it and they don't want it, and the calls get louder and louder, and an overwhelming majority of people say in the end, yeah, just get on with the game. Well, I can't see the powers that be in any way altering the way that it is used at the moment, because it's part of the marketing and it's part of the sell. And when the All Blacks and the Black Ferns play, that the Haka is part of, it's almost part of your ticket price. It's part of the entertainment package, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's become stylised as a result, and it's very formatted, and it's just part of the procedure to start a game. I mean, I think always that we're lucky that we get to do it, especially when we play overseas. But look, you know, if you've got a problem with it, I don't think you're never not going to have a problem with it.
It'll never be taken away because it is part of the package. I agree with pretty much everything you said there. And I think actually overseas fans like it a lot. Well, not all of them. I think a lot of them like it more than we do. But also, I think if it got taken away, hypothetically, it would, especially in New Zealand, get turned into a big racial issue, to be honest. It'd be turned into an anti-Māori thing. Yeah, it
would be. Which I'm not necessarily thinking that what Stephen Jones said is about that. I mean,
no.
Comments are pretty inflammatory, but he's always been like this about the Haka.
But the thing that I think New Zealand struggles to understand, just in general life, not just sport, but no one cares outside of us.
I think, you know, it's wrong for us to have this expectation that everyone else has to treat it with the kind of reverence that we treat it here.
It was like the reaction, not so much from the players of the team, I don't think they were bothered, but it was the media reaction to the music in the plane in that first Springboks test, and how offensive it was, and are you guys offended by this, or how do you feel, how did it make you feel? And I think you've got to put yourself in the shoes of the other team and the other sets of fans and whatnot. They don't care. The fans might like it, maybe the Springbok fans, because they have a lot of respect for the All Blacks, for example, if we talk about the All Blacks. But no one cares. It doesn't mean anything to them. It's got nothing to do with their culture.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the thing. And that's not a disrespectful thing. It's just what it is, because how many people in New Zealand stop every single day to pay homage to other cultures around the world?
Well, they don't.
They don't, okay? No. So that's what most people who are overseas think about us. That's just the reality of it. Catch a plane and find out for yourselves one day if you disagree with me. The Black Ferns, let's get back to the rugby. Not good enough. And that scoreline is flattering. Well, actually, when you watch the highlights package on Sky Sport, I was very impressed with the way the editor put it together, because it looked as though the Black Ferns were right in that game.
Well, it looked like they were the better team.
Yeah, it's quite a creative and clever piece of editing. You want to do this with the White Ferns and the Football Ferns next, because it'll actually make it look as though that they're actually competitive.
Yeah. Only New Zealand sixes. But we lost by 6 wickets.
Yeah, it's just, you want to see the promo on Sky Sport at the moment for the White Ferns to play Australia on Thursday. It is honestly, it is just so cringe.
They're already talking about pride for the jersey because they know they're losing.
Every catch, every step, every thwack with a bat is one step closer to victory.
Does it say that?
Yeah, no, it's not. We're going to get dicked by Australia because they lose every game.
Literally
they play.
every game.
Every game they play the White Ferns.
And the only games they win are dead rubbers in the series they've already lost.
But in terms of the Black Ferns, this is, Alan Bunting's in the same boat that Scott Robertson is. The playing cattle at the moment just aren't what we want them to be. They're just not quite good enough. I mean, we're never going to be fifth in the world in women's rugby. We're never going to be fifth in the world in men's rugby. But we could quite easily be second or third for a number of years, like we are in the All Blacks at the moment.
With the Black Ferns, there's a more obvious reason as to why they're a step behind it. It's because of their franchise competitions. I don't know if England. I'm pretty sure England are fully professional in their comps. I don't know if France are. And this was obviously a huge talking point. A couple of years ago when the World Cup was on. So they're always going to be sort of capped in terms of their performance and what they can get to because they play amongst themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think that makes you better.
And so do we.
We're getting dangerously close to what that is.
That's it.
We pretty much are there.
And we play amongst ourselves and we rest every second week. So how does that make you a better player when you don't play?
But there was it was a wonderful occasion. It was a spectacular celebration when they won the World Cup a couple of years ago. But anyone with a brain who knows the game and knows what both teams, what they were like going into the tournament and how that game played out. New Zealand were bloody lucky to win that World Cup final. It was purely down to a red card, and they still could have lost it if a throw at the line out doesn't get intercepted. Now, it's not to take any gloss away from the win. It was spectacular, but let's, isolate that, throw it out the window, and then put ourselves back in a circle of reality and understand that, no, this England team is seriously good. And that's now back-to-back losses. Like last year, all the articles on the mainstream media websites talked about how it's a rematch of the World Cup final. Well, no, the rematch was last year, which we lost here by 3 tries.
Right. Yeah,
this isn't the rematch.
No,
this is the second match since. And again, we lost, and we're playing them in a month's time, I think, again. And they're 17 straight wins. They're like the Springboks. They're a step ahead of
47 in the last 48.
Yeah.
Whole lot of text messages coming in about this. We'll get to those in a second. Piastri won in Azerbaijan. The next GP is in Singapore. Suddenly, I'm interested in F1 again. Every time there's a Grand Prix and the name Verstappen doesn't appear on the podium, I get more interested. McLaren now lead the Constructors' Championship, and there's just a handful of points now between Verstappen and Norris at the top of the Drivers' Championship. And there's plenty of GPs left, and that car doesn't look as though it's improving, Max Verstappen. Eric will talk to us about this in about 20 minutes, but he was on the phone earlier saying that he said there's something really wrong with the tyres and the brakes. The thing was just vibrating the whole time. Yeah, somebody's getting yelled at in pit row, aren't they?
And there was a clip of Max at a recent Grand Prix. It was, I want to say it was the Dutch one maybe, could have been the Belgian Grand Prix. It was one of them. Hungary, I don't know. And his car there was so much understeer, it just wasn't moving. It wasn't turning into the corner. So I guess the stability of it and the handling of it is really just not what it once was, which is strange. But geez, if you're the chasing pack, you need to do all you can to take advantage of it. The only issue is that as much as Max isn't scoring wins and he's barely getting on the podium, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 straight races without a win. His best result is second, which he got twice. Norris didn't win. Norris, I think, came fourth, and he's only one position ahead of Max, and there's not a huge amount of points on offer, and his teammate won. So it's that pack behind Max is slowly creeping up, but the pack themselves are tightening up. Like Leclerc's getting a lot of podiums now with some wins. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri are winning races and consistently on the podium. So they're almost getting tighter themselves. So it's kind of. What's the Marvel film, Avengers, when you've got all the superheroes up against the one big bad enemy. It's kind of like that, where maybe the rest of the drivers and teams need to band together and go, no, Lando's our guy. I don't care if he's on a totally different team. Let's get him to beat Max. But anyway, point is that I think McLaren need to do all they can to make sure that Lando's finishing ahead of Oscar Piastri, because if they don't, and they have moments where, like, I didn't watch the race, I didn't watch any highlights to be honest, but if they get to a point where Piastri and Norris are battling a lot and Piastri is consistently getting better results, they're in a bit of a tricky spot. They need to do what they can to make sure Norris is actually finishing higher.
Tasman worthy winners of the Shield yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were.
It was tight.
Well, the refereeing was
nerving.
the refereeing was just, if I really wanted to get bitchy about it, I'd go, what the hell? Why didn't you put a decent ref on? He had a shocker of a game.
Well, there was one moment where Tasman knocked the ball on their own 22.
Yeah, and he just completely missed it.
He said, play on.
Yeah, it's like, what? It's a knock on. He stopped the game. I thought Tasman were, were the better team. Wellington, it looked as though they'd played for the third time in 8 days. It really did take its toll in the end. But a cracking game in terms of crowd And Greg Cornelis will be with us after 3 o'clock to talk about this. Brilliant that it was at Lansdowne Road. They let all the kids in for free, so you don't know how many people are actually in the, what kind of attendance it is, because it's only about the tickets they've sold. But it was a packed house, great day, afternoon rugby, Ranfurly Shield. And the next challenge is against Auckland, so you can imagine what's going to happen for that game. It's going to be jam-packed again.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fantastic occasion to be part of. You probably have to go and buy yourself a ticket early to watch an NPC game. Good God, when's the last time that happened? But it just goes to show, doesn't it, what these trophies actually mean. It is something.
Yeah.
It gets people through the gate, New Zealand rugby. Are you watching?
But it means a lot to the smaller provinces.
But, throw the All Blacks in there. Let people watch the Stars.
It's interesting how there is a game on that draws in the crowds on a lovely sunny day.
Yeah.
The provinces love it. The kids love it. The families love it. It's a great game. It's exciting. And it means a lot to the players and the teams and the fans. But apparently it's not fit for purpose.
It's not fit for purpose. No, it's not fit for purpose.
That sort of 2-hour block yesterday looks like that's a competition that is fit for purpose.
It looks as though, there is interest in it, isn't it? If you actually sat round and actually came up with some...
Just tweak a few things.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, but I'm in London planning meetings and proposing meetings.
Steak dinners.
For the next planned meeting.
Yeah, 4 different lunches, and I'm not paying for any of it myself.
No. Man City, tomorrow, and Tom Rennie will talk about this. The trial begins. What are you expecting? I'm expecting this trial to go on for 5 or 6 years. That's what I'm expecting.
Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of hot air balloons from the side of the Premier League talking up, going, we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to sort it out. We need to make sure that no one's breaking rules and getting away with it, and we're determined to make sure that those at fault, if they are, we find out and we punish them.
They're going to be told they're faulting.
Yeah. And then it's going to be just like the was it the football? No, it was the All White. Remember the All Whites coach when Danny Hay stepped down? We heard nothing after a year.
That's it.
And then it just kind of went away. That's what's going to happen. We're going to sit there and go, wait, what happened with that hearing? It's like the New Zealand Rugby Board situation right now.
So Rob Nichols is starting a brand new organisation and breaking away
overseas. That's what will happen. It'll be like 6 months to a year. We'll go, what actually is going on here?
Nothing.
Nothing's going to happen. And then it's going to last for 4 or 5 years. It's going to get tied up. And then eventually it's just going to, I don't know. Nothing's going to happen.
It's Only Sport with Martin Devlin on the platform. Brought to you by One New Zealand. Let's get connected.